And now please give a warm welcome to Leandra Rami, her solo show, One Night with You.
Genetic Frankenstein and all. But for me, being alive is a gift. A gift of love for my family and the universe. I am from a world in outer space, populated by a heartless race, where I felt completely out of place, and so I flew away. On my planet, no one stops to feel. I want grass and trees, and not glass and steel. From my telescope, I saw worlds of hope, and so I had to go. I come for love across a universe so vast, but I travel there and back again for happiness at last. I come for love. I've had to live my life alone, but we've learned to aim a human shape. Love is something we can't clone. I want to feel emotion, fill me with laughter and joy. I want to live like an earthling. Is this some terrestrial ploy? I come for love, not just some interstellar fling. As I rocketed past Saturn, I thought, that's a pretty ring. I come for love. I have this longing in my heart. I've come so I can finally feel what on earth makes living seem so real. Will this world reveal what I've been dreaming of? I come for So, I arrived on Earth. But it wasn't that simple. In 1977, my great-grandmother Leia was dying. And as she was slipping in and out of consciousness, she made 3 predictions. Your daughter will be beautiful and wise. You will name her after me. With these amazing pronouncements, my parents went to a Chinese restaurant to celebrate. At dinner, my mother's fortune cookie read the same exact words that were uttered from my great-grandmother's lips. Your daughter will be beautiful and wise. My father then gave my mother her birthday present, an engagement ring. The next day, my parents, filled with excitement, looked in a name book for a name starting with L. And right under my great-grandmother's name, Leah, was the name Leandra, Greco-Italian. Born under the sign of Leo, my parents had exhausted every natural way to conceive me. And that brings us back to 1983, when my grandmother found the genius sperm bank on the Phil Donahue show. My biological donor father was picked from a catalog. To this day, I still only know him as Donor Clear. On a clear day, you can see forever. Sperm Clear was shipped across the country. The special ceremony was performed under a lavender parachute, and the deed was done. My mother knew she had conceived me. She even had visions of me before I was born. Then, on July 27th, 1984, under the sign of Leo, I was born and named Leandra Erin Ram. I grew up on Roosevelt Island here in New York City with an amazing family. Destiny had played its part. My mother said I sang before I spoke. I remember her playing the piano, my dad proudly watching as my sister and I would dance and sing along. And I really liked this singing thing. Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. When trumpets heat up, give me a rep to beat up. Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. Hit me with a high note and watch me burn. Slap me down the rhythm from stem to stern. When saxes flare up, how can I keep my hair up? Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. Start that trombone sliding as I gather steam. Keep that tempo riding. I'll come in right on the beat. Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. Slap me down the rhythm and let bounce. Let that beat wave. Bring it on, baby, baby. Hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. Do ya, do ya, do ya, do ya, do ya, do ya, do hit me, oh yeah, hit me with a high note, hit me with a high note and watch me bounce. I knew I wanted a career in the arts, and I loved it all, but a few things led me in the right direction. In the second grade, I was in the wings of my school talent show, getting ready to perform a creative dance, when the 7-year-old in front of me sang a Whitney Houston song. I thought, hey, I could do that. Then, when I was 13 and playing my flute in my room, my mother thought I never sounded so good. She opened the door, and it wasn't my flute at all. It was my voice. A family friend once asked me, Leandra, which do you love the most? Singing! That simple question changed the course of my I now had a focus, a commitment for life. I began taking classical voice lessons, and within 1 year, I represented the entire United States in an international solo vocal competition. I won first place. I went on to study at the Manhattan School of Music and became one of the youngest apprenticed artists with major opera companies around the country. My dreams were coming true. Una voce poco fa qui nel cor mi suonò, il mio cor ferito è già e d'or fu che il piago si l'indoro mio sarà e lo giurai la vincerò si l'indoro mio sarà e lo giurai la vincerò il tutore cruserò l'ingegno guzzerò alla pizza che terrò e contenta io resterò si l'indoro mio sarà e lo giurai la vincerò si l'indoro mio sarà e lo giurai My opera career was going great, and I was now 20 years old. At this time, I was given the opportunity to appear on Anderson Cooper 360 on CNN, The View, and Good Morning America, all to talk about my being born from this genius sperm bank and my opera achievements. I knew this would be good exposure for me, so I did it willingly. Little did I know that a man on the other side of the world would watch me on TV and become fixated on the fact that I was born this unusual way. And this 15 minutes of fame would turn into 6 years of torture. After my CNN appearance, a man contacted the New Jersey Opera Theater where I was performing at the time. He claimed that he was the director of the prestigious Singapore Music Festival and wanted to hire me as a singer after watching me on TV. With the opera company's referral, I called this man, and he sounded very legitimate, but he needed a few things first. Headshot, resume, demo reel. And he also claimed that he was a sponsor of the arts. But slowly, time revealed that he was none of these things. Over the course of the next year, a few red flags showed me that he was a fraud. First, he set me up on these strange auditions for his friends here in New York. Second, he promised to Western Union me $150,000 as my sponsor. But instead of receiving $150,000, I would only get $150. And lastly, he promised to fund all these different opera programs I would attend, but they would always fall through. Oh, and that Singapore Music Festival gig never happened either. He started to want to have personal conversations with me and would demand a response. He started emailing me several times a day, and as I made less and less contact, he made more and more. Previous Google searches of his name didn't bring up much of anything, but now he was making headlines as an international arms dealer and known stalker. He was on trial for smuggling millions of dollars of illegal arms into Syria and arrested at Harvard University for stalking and trespassing. I didn't didn't want anyone like this in my life. He was bad news. My mama done told me when I was in pigtails. My mama done told me, a man's gonna sweet talk and give you the big eye. But when that sweet talk is done, a man is a two-faced, so worry something. They need to sing the blues in the night. Now the rains are falling, hear that train a-calling. Ooh-wee, my mama done told me, hear that lonesome whistle blowing across the trestle. Ooh-wee, my mama done told me, ah-ooh-wee, ah-ooh-wee, oh, clickety-clack, echoing back the blues in the night. From Natchez to Mobile, from Memphis to St. Joe, wherever the four winds blow. I've been in some big towns and heard me some big talk. But there is one thing I know. A man is a two-faced, don't worry something. They can sing the blues in the night. Oh, yeah. My mama done told me when I was in pigtails. My mama done told me, man's gonna sweet talk and give you the big eye. But when that sweet talking's done, a man is a two-faced, a word something who not gonna sing the blues in the night. My mama was right. There's blues in the My boyfriend at the time decided to be a superhero and sent the stalker a cease and desist letter. That only fueled his fire. When he found out that I had a boyfriend, the rejection prompted him to start stalking the boyfriend as well. This guy was now officially my stalker. Instead of stopping, he went to all costs to get me to contact him again. He sent cryptic love letters, which eventually turned into death threats. He wanted my attention and wanted a virtual relationship with me. He started emailing directors that I had worked with and contacted big casting directors, saying that he was going to attack me at performances if I didn't email him back. It got so bad that at one particular theater, they actually had to have police standing outside, just in case. I was the object of his obsession, and everyone became the enemy. He was very internet savvy and found old cast members I had worked with, family members, and friends. He contacted everyone associated with me with threats. I couldn't take it anymore. This guy was ruining my career, and I needed it to stop. I had worked so hard for my career, and I wasn't going to let some guy ruin it on the other side of the world through a laptop. So I went to the authorities. I contacted the FBI, the NYPD, the Singapore Police Force, the Singapore Embassy in America, the American Embassy in Singapore, and even private attorneys. I was shocked when all of these organizations and individuals told me there was nothing they could do. The FBI and NYPD actually told me to ignore him, and he would just go away. I thought, if this was your wife or daughter that this was happening to, would you just say, forget about it? Being in their offices was just like being in a movie. They would sip their coffee and smirk at me as I told them all the problems the stalker had created. I would show them pictures of women with their faces beaten up, pictures of guns, and specific death threats for the time and place that I was going to die. They did nothing. I learned that there was no law for international cyberstalking. What this guy was doing was actually legal. Like this email, for example. Perfectly legal. Dear Scott, please email to Leandra. Unless I receive a letter of apology from her, her face will be slashed with a box cutter knife on Friday morning, 6 a.m. as she exits her apartment, New York time. Her phone number is 212-355-4799. I will attack this. C-U-N-T. I had nowhere to turn, and the authorities couldn't help me. I didn't know what to do. I was at the end of my rope. Nobody could help me. So, as my final appeal, I decided to talk to the stalker himself. After one particularly awful threat, I picked up the phone and called him. What do you want? To talk to you. But don't you realize you're stalking me? I don't want anything to do with you. If you don't want me to stalk you, then you talk to me. I want to talk to you. A light bulb went off in my head. All I had to do was talk to him, and then I could keep him at bay. I didn't want to talk to him, but I wanted my life back, and I needed peace again.
In
Warbird 5K. I had to protect myself. Me. You owe me a big apology because you promised me you wouldn't send any threats, and you did. The title of your email was Warning. If that's not a threat, then what is? But after a while, I was done with this keeping him at bay. I had more self-respect than to continue to communicate with this man. So I searched deep within myself and found my courage and strength to send him my own cease and desist letter. He retaliated and created his own extravagant website called Divas Gone Wild, featuring me. Look at me. I am gorgeous. I am absolutely gorgeous. Here's this avalanche of beauty in one woman, and I'm it. Look at the way all of the parts fit together, stunning. See the way my nose stopped running. I was positive this creature was there inside the old me, all bottled up waiting to get free. Now I see the real me. Look at this, look at that, look at those. Let me just feel me. Beautiful, glamorous, radiant, ravishing. Look at the hair, look at the shape, look everywhere. I am such a divine me. Every studio will sign me. My cup runneth over. Whoever saw such a complete wow! Nobody can say no to me now. No one is as gorgeous as I contacted Google about removing this blog, Divas Gone Wild, which stole all of my pictures and videos and labeled me as things such as an international prostitute and international grand auto theft. But Google said they believe in freedom of speech and they don't remove defamatory remarks. And if I had an issue, I should speak to the author of the blog himself. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook all said the same thing. So the stalking continued, even though now I was completely ignoring him. He was a stalker that would invest hours, which eventually turned into days, months, and then years of him ruining my reputation, shattering my self-worth, and threatening everyone I knew. I wanted to ask my stalker, how can you do this? How can you do this to anybody? I also wanted to ask law enforcement, how can you allow this to happen? I was a young girl growing up in New York with a dream to be a singer. How can you watch this happen and not do anything? I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know simbolo di pace, di fraternità. La forza che ci dai, we ask that life be kind and watch us from above. We hope each soul will find another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to our place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be saved. E la fede che hai acceso noi, sento che ci salva. I was fortunate enough to be hired by a cruise line as a performer. I thought this was my dream escape as I would travel the world. But before I left, I made it my determination to fight against international cyberstalking, because ignoring the stalker wasn't working, and I didn't want to live the rest of my life communicating with him either. I imagined myself 10 years in the future telling my husband, "Hold on, honey. It's 8 o'clock. I have a mandatory chat session with my cyber stalker. I'll be right back." I had to get help, so I put everything aside and focused on my case. Then, through all of my efforts and 6 degrees of separation, I managed to meet all of the right people. I was connected to a data forensic examiner, A.J. Fardella, who had connections with the Secret Service that was developing an international internet crimes task force unit in Singapore. Before I knew it, I was stepping on board the cruise ship and putting everything into the data forensic examiner's hands. I sent the data forensic examiner $10,000, my hard-earned cruise ship money. But eventually, I developed a team of this data forensic examiner, a passionate lawyer, anti-stalking organizations, and press articles on my side. My life as a free American citizen was put into some virtual prison, but now I was officer for this case, and currently, we have arrested the subject. Colin Mac Yulong. Investigations are ongoing. Colin Mac Yulong of Singapore has a lifetime restraining order with me, and the Attorney General is currently reviewing the thousands of emails to determine his future jail time. Every threatening email equals 1 year in jail, so 5,767 years in jail? So, why did this happen to me? Did I make some special contract in heaven to be the 6-year victim and then victor of international cyber stalking? I believe this happened so that I could learn lessons and then encourage others. I learned that through determination, faith, and hard work, justice will be served. And even the most incredible obstacles can be overcome. And now, my motto is that for every solution, there is a problem. I mean, for every problem, there is a solution. Well, I guess both are true. Amazingly, I've never met my stalker face to face, nor my biological donor father either. Two male figures that had a great impact on my life, and I've met neither one. But despite insurmountable obstacles, I was ready to move on and move back to New York City because my life was moving on up. Well, moving on up. Stalking a Diva is now available on Nook, Kindle, and iBook. Please visit stalkingadiva.com for more information. I will also be featured on the new hit TV show, My Life is a Lifetime Movie. As you know by now, my life really is a lifetime. I have made it my determination to fight against international cyberstalking and to bring awareness to the public and to help others who have suffered through similar situations like mine. After this hurdle, nothing can stop me or slow me down now. If another hurdle is placed in front of me, I will leap over it, write down my story, and put together another one-woman show. In another night with you. One night with you is what I'm now ready for. The things that lead to the end make my dreams come true. Because of my unusual origins and my television appearances. But by having an online presence, we are all targets for cyberstalkers. My case began 6 years ago, and it's such a shame that 6 years later, no new laws have been created. Therefore, I want to be instrumental in changing the laws, because freedom of speech should not mean freedom to slander. By sharing my story, I hope to save other people from going through the persecution that I did. I would like to thank my co-writers, Dagmar Spain and Andrew Lonsdale, and additionally, I would like to thank Andrew Lonsdale for directing and operating the lights. So I say thank you for the you'd like to ask